Hey everyone, this my name is Chris McGuire, and this is pretty terrific. And with me, as always, is my friend.
Marie,
Hey,
also terrific.
yeah,
Good morning. Oh, wait. What time is it where you
it's
are?
1:05 p.m., so it's
Oh, my goodness.
mid-afternoon. Yeah,
Wow. Has your morning been pretty terrific?
yeah, the morning's been pretty good. I went to the dairy as I often do on Fridays, and it was a beautiful drive. The fall is in full effect here. It feels great.
I have to say, I don't think I went to the dairy is a common phrase. And for the benefit of at least me and possibly our one listener, Dave, um, could you elaborate on why you go to a dairy and what it's like at the dairy?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I co own an ice cream shop in Philly where we make our own ice cream. And to get all the milk and cream for the ice cream, we go to a dairy. It's about an hour away outside of Philly. And yeah, it's called Longacre Dairy. And it's this beautiful drive in the countryside. Like the first half is all like, highways and highways. And then you get to the countryside and there's rolling hills and you drive past the cows that the milk came from. And it's beautiful. Yeah, I actually enjoy it. Like it's an hour in and an hour back, but I do it every week, and it's come to be a really fun ritual.
Is it just you?
Yeah, it's just
Just
me.
a, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I've
I
had
don't
I've had
know.
like a guest with me once or twice, but yeah, it's almost always just me.
Oh, that's a lovely. I'm a big fan of the sort of solo drive because it's like gives you an opportunity to zone out, and I like a lot of singing
Yeah,
in the car. And I feel self-conscious even like with my husband in the car, maybe more so with him because he's all music man
definitely.
guy, right? So that is a terrific thing, and I envy you your drive.
Yeah, that single drive is great. I do enjoy driving alone on that time. It gives you some me time when yeah you can just let loose. And I think we
Yeah.
talked about during one of our last episodes about how much we love
Mhm.
singing, um,
Yes.
like solo.
Let's sing right now, Chris. Go.
Yeah, no, I'm not ready for that.
Okay. But it's pretty terrific. I've heard you sing. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, I do like to
Hooray.
sing, and it's one of those things that I feel I would love to learn how to do it better, and I feel like I probably would get a lot out of a voice trainer.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I've never done that. Well, I guess I was in high school choir, and does that count as a voice trainer?
Yeah, I mean, not really, because you have like voice lessons,
Yeah,
like private voice lessons. I was also in high school choir and middle school, and I had like a private voice teacher. And I mean, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, Texas, so it was like, I don't know what her qualifications were necessarily, but she like gave me songs to sing, and then she would record a tape of her playing the piano accompaniment for these songs. Then you just practice.
yeah. Well, and that sounds
Yeah.
very useful in of itself, and just like getting an ear. Like I only feel like recently have I developed anything like an ear, like at all. And now I can hear like, oh yeah, that's singing is not on key. Like it, I really couldn't hear it before. It'd be like, it's a little, I
Hmm.
don't know, they're saying it. I don't, I never had an appreciation for singing, to be honest. I was just like, yeah,
Hmm.
people just make words come out of their mouth. It's fine. Anyone could do that.
See, I live with a man who is my husband who has a very, very uh, deft ear for things, and he thinks that half the population think they can sing, and about 10% of those people are right.
Yeah, I mean, I
Um,
think he's probably can sing well, right?
no, actually, no.
Oh, just like
He
can sing,
he
period.
yeah, can sing. Yeah, he's pretty critical
Yeah.
of singing, and like he'll hear things on the radio or in a commercial or on the TV or videos, anything, and it'll be like, ooh, the auto tune, and I'm like, really, I can't hear it. And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
and then when they don't have auto tune, he's like, and just like when things are just a little flat or a little sharp, he can tell, and it's so that is very it makes you self conscious.
Totally.
Um,
I would be like I'm the same way with my spouse Kelly. Like I will not I don't like playing music around her or singing or anything. Because I one time I was playing like random shows in New York, and I had this one solo show at a bar at a bar my friend was at, and I started playing, and I guess I wasn't sounding amazing, and I saw her face, and it was
Oh
so it was disgusted. And then
no!
like I haven't really played in front of a crowd since. So, but I miss it. So like I'd like to get back into it. It's
Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I like it. I don't. It's fun. Do things for fun. We don't have to do things for other people's enjoyment,
Yeah.
right? Do it because it makes you happy.
Yeah,
I would love to.
although you could argue like doing it in front of like a stage performance in front of people, it should be for their enjoyment to some degree,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Yes. Okay. I'm not encouraging everyone to just like show up in front of a crowd and do your thing. But I think that personally, I love an untrained voice.
Yeah.
Like most of my favorite singers are, not, I don't know, not voices that people are like, wow, what a voice. I know I can appreciate that. I love a good Tom Waits,
Yeah,
there's
I like a
many
unique
singers that like,
voice,
yeah,
for sure, and it's something like no one can necessarily replicate that, but you wouldn't want to try. You want to put your own flavor in there, and
yeah.
I think traditionally when I've heard like what people call like a really good singer, it comes
Mhm.
through and it's almost robotic, right? It comes out like, well, you're doing what a synthesizer could do, like,
Well, I mean, historically, like Freddie Mercury, right?
yeah,
Of course, incredible voice, amazing. Yes, undeniable. And this is like before the auto-tune days, and he's just singing live, and it's like undeniably an amazing voice. But there's something about a quirky voice to me that I like Daniel Johnston's singing. You don't necessarily think of him as like tuneful necessarily, but I love it. I love that kind of thing. I like hearing the human in music, and
yeah. I mean,
it's really
one of my
nice.
favorite genres is like punk rock, and all of the best punk rockers have this weird nasally characteristic, which you wouldn't necessarily describe as like great singing, but like it's got character, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good thing. I enjoy it.
I enjoy it too.
Let's sing, everybody. At least at least to ourselves.
Yeah, at very least to ourselves.
I read once though that singing with other people is really good for. I think we talk about collective effervescence.
Yes.
It's very good for mood. And I don't know. I kind of miss that choir days, I guess, or not. I don't
I
know.
don't.
This
Well,
sounds really nerdy. This is a nerdy talk.
that's all right, dude. We're nerds. Embrace
Okay.
it. But that's something you could do. Like there are choir groups that adults are
Gonna
participating.
hang out with other
I
adults?
know
My
you're not
God.
gonna, but you could. Like,
The possibility
what if it
exists.
was like an hour and a half every week, and you just got together
Ah,
and sung with people?
oh my
Oh,
God.
that sounds like a nightmare.
That sounds terrible.
See, I
My
think it sounds
God.
kind of nice. I think it would be fun.
Uh, think of all the disease
Yeah,
swirling in the air.
just in a pre-COVID world, imagine that. Do you think you would have
Okay,
considered it then?
totally, maybe.
Totally, maybe.
Sound totally maybe. I mean, like, what time of day would it happen?
let's let's say early evening. What about that?
Oh my God. It's like end of work, or I'm still working. I'd probably just want to, curl up, watch some video games, maybe, or play them,
Watch
you
some
know,
video games.
or watch television or play video games
Yeah.
somewhere in
I
there.
mean,
Read a
that's what
book.
we all want to do deep down inside, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It sounds hard. It sounds challenging.
Yeah. But
Oh,
yeah, but part of you misses that, right?
yes, part of me misses that, especially since reading the literature about how it has such a positive effect on mood. But I question it, the rigor of the study, because like maybe there's something about just being in groups, doing an activity that's shared, that's good. But now that as I'm remembering more, it was something about the synchronization of breathing,
Oh,
which I thought was really fascinating,
yes,
which is
your key
really interesting.
flow.
What if we just all like got in a room and everybody, oh, like meditation, motherfucker. What about that? If we're just like in a room meditating and everybody's breathing in sync, is that the same as the singing, or is the singing itself
Well,
necessary?
people love yoga classes. At least yoga people love yoga classes, and they do it together. You don't do solo yoga, right? Like, at least
Sure you
not
do.
one on one. I mean, you wouldn't go to like, here's my
I
yogi. Do they do that? I don't know.
so I had I used to do yoga in the pre-COVID world, and I actually loved it. I loved going out in the group, sure, but I had additionally um, uh, private lessons because of my many health issues. Like because of my heart, I can't like lift my arms above my head, and because of my neck, my spine, I can't do this and that, and so I have arthritis. So yeah, it was really fun. But I also had like a really great teacher, and she would bring this cool Indian piano thing that was sort of like a squeeze box accordion, and she had it like custom tuned, and like she would play little songs like to like chant for meditation,
Okay.
and she had an incredible voice, and I loved it, and I would like record it. It was awesome. So yes, I highly recommend a solo yoga practice if you can find someone that you really like hanging out with.
That's interesting.
Yeah. And if she has one of the little piano things, I know there's a real name for them, but it's like so rad, and it's like that's
Actually,
cool.
that instrument's never been named. They just call it the little piano thing in India.
With the little thing. Yeah. And they just do this,
Is it
and
like a
everyone's like,
zither?
"Oh, a zither isn't that a string instrument?"
I thought a zither is like yeah, it's a string instrument, but you a lot of individual strings. Like each string is a note. I thought. I don't
I
know.
don't. The world is challenging.
The world is vast. Yeah.
There's so many words that are unknown to humankind.
Yeah. So that's something actually I'd like to discuss. So something that's pretty terrific is gaining a mastery and understanding of something. Like so that's really
It-
fun. But like as we're talking, I think it's kind of a double-edged sword in the case of like Ben because you can't enjoy something that isn't perfect, right? Or rather, you notice flaws more readily. And like it's really
yes.
cool to be good at something and be able to pick that out, but at the same time, like sometimes it spoils it, right?
Yes. Interesting. So this makes me think of the Dunning-Kruger effect. I think you might be familiar with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't mean that as a casting aspersions. um, but I was looking more into it, trying to understand it. But part of it is that people lack the knowledge to know that they're not good at a thing, right?
Yes.
They just lack the experience. And so because they have no context, they're like, well, I'm amazing. But yes, I think, I don't know. I wonder about that. I don't think it's that Ben has perfection in what he does or anything, but it's just he has really sensitive ears, and he's looking for what he wants.
Yeah.
So he has experience plus taste, and that leads to a lot of like criticism.
Right. And
So,
I think the place I feel this the most recently is with video games. And this isn't to
oh,
say like I'm good at video games. It's more I'm very sensitive to things like frame rates and input lag. And I feel that stuff. And so like when I get it right though, it feels amazing, right? You get a setup where everything's gelling and it's like, yes, this
mm-hmm.
is this is good. But yeah, when I go to like some fake arcade setup and they've got some LCD in there and I'm like, there's a lot of input lag on this, this Ms. Pac-Man. Like, come on,
But
guys.
I feel like input lag is something that even the inexperienced person can feel.
People have different levels, apparently different levels of sensitivity to it, and
Yeah.
yeah, I think like it affects everyone for sure. You
Mm-hmm.
just are more and less aware of how much it's affecting you.
Yeah, I just because like even like, as a kid, it's just like, is this doing what I want it to do? And yeah, I don't know. Oh, input lag, that just like makes me unhappy.
Totally. Yeah, and when
Oh,
you play something that doesn't have it though, like you got a good display, and you hit that joystick and you move immediately, it feels so right.
Yeah. Oh, that's yes.
That's why I like playing
I
on this big old CRT TV behind me. Like it feels so good. It's so fast.
I just I would love to see it on. I just remember so much. I haven't seen one of those in life in such a long, long time.
Yeah.
What do you play on it?
Um, lately, well, so I've got basically all the NES, SNES, N64, GameCube, and the Wii all set up on that, and the Dreamcast and the PS2. So those are all connected to it right now.
Nice. So everything. You play everything
Yeah.
on
Oh,
it.
and it's also where I got my ColecoVision. I'll plug that in every once in a while,
Yes.
and I also got an OG Xbox on that.
Oh, I gave away all my old stuff. I wonder if I, because like, how am I gonna play it? But
Yeah.
yeah,
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 but
because those things are heavy. How much does that weigh? How'd you get it down
the
there?
TV I had help with a friend, and even then it was
Hmm.
tough. Like I think my dad helped me
That's a
move
big
it.
one.
It's big. It's about 200 pounds. And it's more than it weighs more than me. And yeah, it was tough, but it's worth it. It's worth
Yeah,
the headache. I moved it once.
and never again.
Never again.
This is where it stays. It will. Yeah.
It fit in my tiny
It,
little hatchback car, so that was pretty cool. Yeah.
I can imagine like the back of it must be enormous.
Yeah. Let's see if I can.
Woo!
Let's see.
Oh my God! I'm seeing parts of your room that I've never seen
Yeah, so
before.
that's the TV we're talking
Oh,
about.
it's not that big. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, like I
Cool.
think it's a 32 inch, 36 inch. Um,
That's okay. That's big. Like I remember back in the CRT days when I was like, I've got a 25-inch CRT, and I was like, woohoo.
yeah.
Yeah. Way to go.
No, we're totally spoiled now in the modern era with like screen size, because yeah, a 19-inch TV back then was like standard good. Like that was the family gathering TV was a 19-inch, right?
Yeah. Oh, back in the day. Back in the day.
Old man.
Yeah. Speaking of old, can I talk to you about something that is
Absolutely.
pretty terrific?
Yeah.
Okay. I moved into this new house that I'm in and about 2 months ago, and I finally received the bookshelves. And as you, Chris, know, I like books.
Yes.
I like a lot of them. And many times I have parted with books on my way here. So I got rid of like half of the books I had before we moved down. And now that I have the shelves, I'm going to have to part with another at least third of the books I have because it's like, oh, wait, I have more books than even this can handle.
Right.
But the pretty terrific thing is, I was going through these books, and there were books in there that, I purchased as a teenager. And one book that I remember being really meaningful to me was Steppenwolf by Herman Hesse. And in there, I had all these little post it notes, and like they had little like categories on them. And I went back and read what like it's tip like straight up that subreddit. I'm 14 and this is deep.
Yeah.
It's that. And I thought it would be so cringe, but it was kind of nice to kind of look back at what teen Marie thought was interesting and important and meaningful and revelatory. So I am in favor of holding on to books. I will say that I probably don't need quite so many books, but it's nice to go back and revisit and see the things that you thought were so good, and I don't know, enjoy the growth of a human being over time.
No, I agree. I love, and it's you seeing it, and like people call it cringe, but it's genuine, right? Like it's not like
Yeah.
you're putting on airs. This is you, and it's maybe a sort of naked and defenseless version of you, but like
Yeah.
there's some beauty in that, right?
Yeah, it's not like I was taking notes in there for someone else to discover,
Right.
you know?
It
Yeah.
was you weren't writing it to anyone else. It was for you, and yeah, that's cool. Like seeing things you wrote in the past, and you're like, well, I've grown from this what I was, but like still, I was kind of neat.
Yeah. Or, in some ways I was like, oh, Marie was lonely.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that poor girl. I continue to be lonely, but that's by my own design. But still, it was so nice. I really enjoy it. So To the naysayers out there who are like, Marie, you have too many books. Okay, fine. Agreed. I don't need this many. But it is lovely. It's very nice to have access to like that portal into your young self or who you were at this moment when you read this book. And it's very enjoyable.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense from like a collecting standpoint to hold on to like the most important ones are the ones that make you feel feelings when you touch them. And maybe for you that's all of them, but I imagine it's a subset, right? Like, do you have like specific memories tied to every single tome in your library?
I would say no,
Yeah.
but I will say that like I was putting up the books and I had like I have a large collection of poetry, and because I was like a reader bee back in the day, and then like a lot of also loves poetry or love specific content, and I'm like, gee whiz, young Marie was obsessed with love, romantic love, and certainly now I'm just like, I read a lot of science fiction.
Yeah.
And I think that's like kind of telling. It's like, what are the things that I'm purchasing at a time? And Marie was like really interested in this idea of romantic love. And then I got romantic love, and I was like, okay, check. And then I'm like, let's do speculative
Well,
fiction.
you no longer had that void you like in your life, right? And
Yes,
perhaps
yes.
part of that was trying to fill a void, and now that void is less empty, so now there's other things to explore.
Fair enough. But I also think it was like it set expectations.
Like,
All of this like, ooh, romantic love is like this, and it's like poetry.
yeah, it's not. or
It is
or it's
not.
like very specific types of poetry. And
Yes. Probably not the poetry I was reading at the time.
and I think that can mess people up for relationships, like especially like they see depictions on TV and in writing, and like this is what love is, and it's cliche to say maybe for us at this stage in life, but people expect that happily ever after, and then done, you're bliss forever, and that's not how it is. Your life just started, really, right?
Yes. And unless you immediately die.
Unless you immediately, right. So if you are killed on your wedding day, like you're both like driving off down the road, and
Okay.
there's
Uh-huh.
cans tied to your car, and they're rattling, and everyone's wishing you well, and then a truck smashes into you, and you both die.
Oh yeah.
Well then,
Mm.
happily ever after,
Oh.
and after's very quickly.
And you were so happy though.
You were so happy.
You're
Oh,
so happy.
like there are totally worse ways to go than on a blissful at the end of your blissful wedding.
Yeah, right? Mangled in a car crash. That's fine.
Yeah, as long as I'm mangled dead, fine.
Mangled dead, yes. Mangled.
No, no,
Because
no.
remember what we were looking at Wednesday night? It was like, no, not us. Um,
Yeah, so romantic love. So you were really into like romance books specifically, or just
not like
poetry?
romance, like oh blah blah blah. Never that.
Yeah,
I think I just read a lot of poetry about love. I think I just liked like really pretty things, like pretty ideas about love, but not like oh, and then sexy shirtless guy. Never that.
right, right. And those are two very different things.
Yes.
Sometimes they can intertwine, maybe, but yeah.
Lie. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if I ever get to that point in my life where I'm reading a romantic book. I've never. Have you read the 50 Shades of Grey
I have
books?
not.
I have not. I don't know if that's romance though. I think that's sort of erotica.
Yeah, I haven't even like seen the movies. There's more than one.
Movies. I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, I just know of them. I've heard, you know, jokes.
Oh, I gotta. Here's a test. Have you seen or ingested in any way anything Harry Potter?
I saw most of the first movie, and
Oh,
yeah, I think I saw the whole first movie. That's it. Not that I'm like adverse to it, but I know like Leona's my 10-year-old has read almost all of them. But she
hmm.
was into reading them. She saw a couple of the movies, and yeah. How about you?
Goose egg.
Zero.
Nothing.
Okay.
Nothing. I have no idea. But I think Daniel Radcliffe has become quite an actor. And I want to talk about something that I'm really anticipating is pretty terrific. Sorry, the segue here.
Yeah.
The Weird Al Yankovic movie is coming out where Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, plays a very, very ripped Weird Al who is like this drunken rock star who's being led astray by Madonna, played by Evan Rachel Wood of like Westworld. Um, and Dr. Demento is in it, played by Rainn Wilson of The Office. And even Weird Al makes an appearance. I am very excited for this movie, and I'm not sure why, because it's not like I'm a huge Weird Al fan, but it's just the whole approach to it, the premise, the setup, Daniel Radcliffe in it.
Well, the concept's
So
like very
excited.
compelling, right? Because it's
Yes.
it's a parody artist who is basically making a parody movie of his own life.
Love
Well,
it.
he's not making it, I guess. I don't know how much involvement does Weird Al have. I don't
Well,
even know.
he appears. Yeah, he
Yeah,
appears
well,
in it.
a lot of people make
Yeah.
cameos in movies.
Sure, fair enough.
uh,
But like,
but yeah, no, it sounds like a match made in heaven, and like I hope it's great because like a lot of people are stoked on it. It's like a lot of people are like setting
oh
their
my
hopes and
goodness.
dreams for the year on this movie.
Yes, me. And if they've been advertising it for as long as I've been alive. And so it's like, when is it coming out? Because they keep seeing it, the trailers, and it's like November. But you know what? November's almost here. And I am very excited for this film.
Yeah.
But Daniel Radcliffe, as an adult, I've enjoyed like Swiss Army Man. Did you see
I
that
did
ever?
see that. Yeah.
I liked it.
It was
I
well, it
liked it.
was unique and
Pardon me.
creative, and like that's really all I can ask in a movie. Like if you do something I never seen before, beautiful. And there's a lot of things I'd never seen before in that movie.
Yes, many things I'd never seen before. But he's just lovely in
Do
it.
you want to describe the premise for our audience?
Oh yes. So Swiss Army Man. Where do I begin?
Well, so
Paul Dano.
there's a guy who gets stranded on a desert island, right?
Paul Dano is there, and he's about to kill himself. Oh, trigger warning, sorry. But then he sees a corpse wash up onto the shore, and that corpse is Daniel Radcliffe.
I like how you
He
describe these people as their actors, as if that was the character.
well, isn't it? Anywho, and so he goes over and he's like, "Hey, corpse, oh, you're dead." And he's like, "Maybe I should resume my plans of attempted suicide." But he notices that the corpse is flatulent, which happens
Yeah.
with corpses, right? But it's propelling this corpse through the water, and he devises a plan to use the flatulence of Daniel Radcliffe to as a jet ski essentially, and get him to shore, to and not an island, to land,
Yeah.
because he's been isolated all this time. And he does that. He successfully, and they find themselves in the woods. He's carrying around this corpse, and as he spends time with the corpse, he finds out like it has more and more uses. It's a Swiss Army man, right? Like it can hold like seemingly infinite amounts of fresh water if he's thirsty. It has a bit of a compass that I don't know if I should describe.
Yeah.
Do you want to describe the compass?
No, that's all right. Yeah, I don't think you want to
Okay.
remove all mystery
Yes.
from this movie, but
Yes.
then it turns
It has
out
many skills.
it starts talking.
Yes, and it comes alive. And you know what? They're singing. And I love the soundtrack for this film. It is so good. And I think that these are atypical voices. It's not as though they're tuneless or anything like that, but like Paul Dano sings, Daniel Radcliffe sings, some other guy. But the music for this is amazing. This film was made by Daniels, who also made Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I think we talked about in the Lost episode, but it's incredible.
I've heard good
Anyway,
things, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just they have a really great time. Well, after a while, they become connected.
Yes.
And there is a sort of a darkness to the story, and yes, Daniel Radcliffe is the titular Swiss Army man for the many skills.
Are you saying that there is a darkness in a movie about a man carrying a corpse around? Like what? Well,
no.
And then the question
It's
becomes,
cheery.
and I think it's never really adequately addressed on purpose, like with how much of this is real and how much of this is, a hallucination.
Mm.
You don't really know ever, I would argue, like in that movie. Um I don't remember a definitive ending being like, well, he was crazy, or no, this is a magical corpse man. Like,
I see. Okay, I don't want to ruin it for potential viewers,
yeah.
but I have a definitive ending in my mind as I interpret it.
Okay.
But yeah, I it's a great movie. I don't know if it's for everyone
No.
because some of it can be a little bit gross.
Yeah, it's a lot of, I wouldn't say body horror, body comedy, right?
Yes, yes, but in an unexpected way, in unexpected ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily see it coming.
But the music is excellent. I really love like the songs in it. It's wonderful soundtrack.
Yeah, so it sounds like Daniel Radcliffe, the actor, has just kind of, ever since Harry Potter, he has the ability to just take whatever weird indie thing he wants and is just having fun doing weird indie movies.
Great for him. That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
I love it.
I think that's the dream,
Yeah.
right? That's what you dream of as an actor.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope he is happy and fulfilled. Good for him. He seems like a good guy. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, that's what every good actor is designed to make you feel like, oh, what a good guy.
But I mean, there were many pitfalls that he could have fallen into.
Oh, yeah, because
And like, I mean, as a child actor,
a child
right?
actor, like, no, half of them are obliterated from the face of the earth, right?
Yeah, and they have challenges, right?
They
And
have
And
challenges.
it's not to say that I don't think he has had challenges. I think that it's just really nice to see him doing really cool, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he feels fulfilled.
It's nice that there's movies that come out that are weird and completely unlike things you've ever seen. That's nice.
Yes, agreed. And that brings me to Everything Everywhere All at Once, which we discussed in a lost episode, but you have not yet seen.
No, I have not.
Please see this. Sir,
Yes,
sir. Chris, look at me.
I'm looking.
Look at me. See this movie.
Okay.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
It got a great message and I love it. I want to watch it again right now. And Data from Goonies is in it, Short Round.
Short
And
round.
he's so lovely. It's I love his character and his personal philosophy is one that I would like to adopt without spoilers.
Well, see, you just sold it on me. To like, adult short round is in it. Like, I was like, I'm always, what's up with that guy? What's he doing?
Well, it's a sad story apparently that like he just didn't find roles for himself as an Asian American, right, in America. So he gave up acting and then I think he like went into movie production. Pardon me. Interestingly, he worked with a director that I really admire, Wong Kar-wai, like as an assistant director on a movie In the Mood for Love, and then they do a sequence in Everything Everywhere All at Once where they're mimicking the visual style of that film and even some of the content of that film, and it's just so lovely. He cleans up nice.
I
I
imagine
would
he's gone
say.
some height since I last saw him on the silver screen.
I think so. If it were the Indiana Jones or Goonies films in which you saw him last,
Yes.
yes.
Yeah.
He was actually on a show called Head of the Class. Do you remember this on
I
TV?
do remember that.
Yes, he was on that apparently. So maybe he was a little bit taller then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't remember him from it. Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you've totally sold me
That
on
was
it. That's kind of all I needed.
well, watch it. Watch it
And
now.
the fact that the trim is a beautiful movie that apparently moved you very much, like that's a nice
Very much.
nice
I
benefit.
cried. I cried.
Yeah.
I cried at it. Yeah. You know.
Happy tears.
Tears. I don't. Hey, man, I don't judge my tears. I just let them go, bro. Come on. Why we gotta bring judgment words in here, man?
Happy's
Yeah.
judgment. Okay. Yeah.
Is it? I don't know. I don't. I'm just like I'm just letting them go, man. Feel your feelings. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know what it was. It was just moving. It was touching, and it spoke to me
Yeah.
in especially his character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you talking like that makes me think kind of like hippie talk, right? hey man, I'm just in there. And it's funny because I recently last weekend went up to upstate at Rhinebeck, New York, and passed
Oh
by
yes, sheep.
Woodstock. And so there's all these signs for Woodstock, New York, which is a real place. But most people outside of that area just think of that as like that's where the big '60s thing happened, right? And they tried to make it a thing again.
Is it not? What is it now?
Well, it's actually a town where people live. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's not just a giant arena where people got dirty.
Well, it wasn't an arena.
No,
It
it
was
wasn't a
like
arena. It was
yes,
a
like a
meadow.
field.
Yeah, a field.
Yes.
It
Oh.
sounded miserable. Everything about it.
I mean, I think if you start at a giant meadow where we'll listen to music together, I'll be like, yeah, that sounds great. And then it's like mud and dirt and filthy
And
and
yeah, no utilities of any kind,
facilities.
no
Yeah.
facilities, and traffic jam for miles. It was not
Okay. Yeah.
prepared for that. But yeah, just knowing that that's like a place. Being upstate, it's beautiful. This time of year in the fall, like it's a cliche, but it's true. You go up there and you see all of the forests and the mountains, and it's beautiful. I went on a run, and I went on a run up and down in some of the mountains. We were staying at this house on the side of a mountain, and I went down. It was very steep. I went back up someone else's driveway, and it was, like a mile up, a mile down. But it was beautiful. As I was running, deer were running alongside me in the forest. It
Oh, were
was
you like Tarzan?
yeah, it was kind of like Tarzan. I was like, oh,
Nice.
do you? Yeah,
Jungle Book?
was thinking more, the blue corn moon.
What's that?
Yeah, Pocahontas, the Disney. Oh God, I forgot all the words.
Sing
But
it, sing it, sing it, sing it.
have you ever heard the wolf cry to the blue corn moon?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
you know that
yes.
song, right?
I love it. I've never seen that film, but I know that song.
Yeah.
Good job. I applaud you. Thank you for the
You're
singing.
welcome. But America is beautiful sometimes.
Sometimes, I mean, physically,
Yeah,
environmentally, sometimes, yes.
it's
Beautiful. No, you sent
beautiful
me a
in a
picture.
lot of ways
In
sometimes.
many ways, sometimes. I mean, I live in California. It's very good.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
California is a state where people are spoiled by beauty on a daily basis.
I mean, just like my backyard. What the hell is that?
Yeah,
This is ridiculous. It's absurd. But you sent me a picture and it's like, wow, that's what you think of like an autumn night. I don't experience that kind of thing here. And it's like, oh, that's so pretty. And there's like nothing around. I long for that. Like, it's like, I think it's so ingrained in us through media that like, this is what autumn looks like, that I have a nostalgia for something I've never had really, where it's like, oh, I wish I could be there for that.
the
For the
simulacrum, right?
Yes. Ooh, how about
Yeah,
that?
the reproduction which has no original, right?
Ah, hooray! Look at you using big words. I know a big word.
What's that?
Um.
You don't know it.
Yeah, I don't know a word, but that was a good one. Good word.
Thank you. Yeah,
Nice.
no, you are definitely better with the words in general, but sometimes I got one or two up there.
Wow, that's great. Now, Ben and I were talking about you and your whether you were a learned man.
Whether or not, so there's a debate, okay?
No, no, no. It was not a debate. It was that you are a learned man. I was like, oh, Ben thought you had a very fine vocabulary.
Oh, what was he listening to the
Yes.
podcast or something?
I don't know.
I,
I think we were talking about, speaking of lost episodes, the Epic of Gilgamesh and or Beowulf.
basically the same, right?
Basically the same thing, because I have, for some reason, in my library, I have two copies of Beowulf, different translations. And I was like, then I told him about what happened with something that passed in a last episode of ours. And he's like, why are you so surprised that he didn't know? It's like, that's not like a thing that people know. And I was like, I don't know. He is a learned man. And he's like, he is a learned man. That was it. That was
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's something that I should have been more locked in on, that's for sure.
No, actually, Ben's argument is that who knows that? What kind of people actually would know that?
Yeah.
Um, and I think like we're speaking around it. Like basically, we were trying to identify the oldest written story.
Yes.
Yes. And it is the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yes. The
Yes.
Epic of Gilgamesh is the oldest written story. And I found out they just found another chapter to it. Like,
Sure did. Before the Winds of Winter came out. I mean, it was a longer wait, but yes,
yeah.
the Epic of Gilgamesh is seminal to so many mythologies and even religions.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff came out of it, so good times.
Have you
And
read it yourself?
Beowulf,
Have you studied?
I have not. I have
Okay.
not. My my efforts in classical literature were sort of waylaid by disaster at some point.
I think the oldest thing I ever read, well, I read the Odyssey.
Mhm.
Some and then I did read the Canterbury Tales. Um,
Yes.
yeah, that's probably the oldest stuff I've ever read.
Well, Odyssey's definitely
Older.
much older.
Yes.
Yes, I've read it. So what do you think? Odysseus, good guy, bad guy? What's your deal?
I don't have enough. It's so hard to judge like morality from
Mm.
now versus then. And I only vaguely remember a lot of it. Well, the one thing I always somebody who goes away from their family for years and years and years and years, I'm always like, why are you doing
Greece.
that?
War. Um, so here's the one thing I always thought that like Odysseus was the hero of the Odyssey, you know? Seems to make sense.
Yeah.
Titular character once again. Anywho, but a Greek friend of mine told me that, in Greece, Odysseus is kind of seen as like, and these are his words, not mine, kind of womanly in his cunning, whereas a real hero would be like Hercules.
Oh, so they're saying like he's a nerd.
Yeah.
Like he thinks too much and isn't punching enough.
Yes. Not no, not enough clubbing.
See, that's more of my kind of hero. Like to
Yeah.
the
Same.
cleverness
Right.
is always appreciated, and reading a story about someone who does something super clever is so much more fun than like I punched him
Yeah.
harder.
Yes. Right. Because I think that there's the expectation that maybe I can also clever.
Yes.
Right. Well, I'm not so much a puncher.
And
Um,
you love like we were talking at some point about like the our desire to be into underdogs and anyone who like
yeah.
you love to see someone who's not expected to win, right?
Yes. I mean, Odysseus was a king and like a totally ripped Greek warrior guy,
Yeah.
but he was also clever. Like the little hanging onto the sheep
He's the
things.
total package.
Oh my God, right? No wonder Penelope was waiting. She was like,
Yeah, she was waiting pretty good, and she's like,
yeah.
I don't even care what sirens that he's into. I'm waiting for Odysseus.
He's top notch. So, I mean, or also maybe she just didn't want to get married again. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, be somebody's property, something like that. Sorry, that's not pretty terrific. Where am I going? Oh my God. But you know what is pretty terrific? Tapestry weaving.
Have you ever done tapestry weaving?
I've done weaving, but
Yeah,
not tapestry weaving.
it's a totally different ball game, right?
Yeah, you're right. No, it really is. It really is a totally
And they're
different ballgame.
huge. Like tapestries are so
Yeah,
big.
dude,
Even a
how do they
small
do it?
tapestry, like
Yeah,
forever.
yeah. So she was into it. I don't know. She liked it.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure it's fun. I'm sure it's great. Come on. I'm trying to be more terrific about my presentation of things. I think ancient Greek literature, terrific. Thumbs up.
I yeah, it makes me want to get into more of it.
Yeah, I have like some Greek tragedies you can read.
Well, and
Yeah.
then you can read the tragedy and be like, well, even if these were about real people, they'd all be dead now anyway. So regardless of
Yeah,
how
that's
they're dead.
yeah. Wow, what an interesting note to be stuck on at right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, no matter what
Mm,
you read about history, you're like, well, no matter who wins and loses, they're all dead. They died.
I guess so. I guess so. That's a nice. Well, is it a nice way to think? Yes, they all died.
You embrace that, like it's everyone dies.
I think I'm still struggling with that. Just my own mortality. So
Yeah. I think
yeah,
there's going to be
I
ebbs and flows.
guess.
Like some people are terrified of mortality and like they're like I don't want to think about it, or if I am thinking about it, I'm
Mm.
petrified. But I don't know. Like I think there's something comforting knowing, like, hey, you might finally get to rest. Like,
Ouch! Oh, Chris, are you okay?
yeah, I'm all right. I mean, you know when you're really tired and you're falling asleep and it's kind of nice.
Ah.
Like, what if that but harder?
Chris, do you do you need anything right now,
No,
Chris?
I just don't.
Okay,
I don't fear death
cool.
as right now.
That's wonderful. Good for you.
Like maybe I'll fear it more. Like if I'm mortally wounded and I'm dying, now I'm like, no, 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 it's not
Yes.
time. You know, maybe I'll
No,
freak
no,
out
no,
then.
no, no. Also, pain, I think,
Yeah.
is another thing. Yes. Yeah. I don't care for pain. Maybe I fear pain more than death.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
So you.
well, good for you. But also, if you ever need to talk, you know where to find me.
Ah, absolutely. You are
Okay.
always there because you don't leave your house.
I never leave.
So you're still enjoying your house right now, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I found out through Zach, who might listen. Oh my God, hey Zach, that my phone can go in the pool.
Can go like in the water.
In the pool, yeah. And I could take underwater photos of things, which is so
It's
exciting to me
designed to do
because
that.
it is, I think it is water resistant. I think is 6 feet of in depth
Okay.
for 30 minutes, which is, I'm not going to be underwater for 30 minutes personally
No.
in a backyard pool, but I'm very excited for this.
So you can take
So,
pictures of the side of the walls of your pool.
well, I've often wanted to, like Ben, I don't know if you would expect this from him, but like when he gets in the water, he like does a whole bunch of flips and stuff.
Hmm.
And I'm like, hey, do a handstand. And then he'll do it, which is really terrific because, he's not usually down to do stuff. And he'll like just like goof off and do stuff. And I was like, I'd like to take a picture of that and have it. And I've been looking at underwater cameras, and now I know that I can just use my phone. So like it's like a whole new world has opened up to me
Yeah,
of
underwater photography
underwater
of like
photography.
figures and people is probably really interesting.
I'm very excited, and I love pools and swimming, and
Does the
I'm so
touch
excited.
does the capacitive touchscreen respond to your finger underwater?
Ooh,
Okay, you haven't
unclear.
tested it out yet.
I have not yet tested it. I learned this like a couple of days ago, so I have not. Ben has not had a swim, but I'm very excited for this possibility. May I recommend a book? Do you like swimming pools?
Yeah, I like swimming pools.
Okay, I like swimming pools a lot, as you may know.
Yeah.
Um, Aragorn, Viggo Mortensen, is also an artist, and he has a little art book of pool photography,
Oh.
just photos of pools. And I gotta say, I love it.
Photos of like just like the landscaping around pools, or just like here's
Just the swimming pool itself.
are,
I
are,
don't
there, are
know.
there anything particularly noteworthy about these pools, or is it the fact that it's just like benign pool photos is the art?
I think the way he's framed and composed, the shot
Yeah.
is artful,
So it's more
but
about
they're just
the
pools.
composition. They're just normal pools.
Yeah, they're just normal backyard pools. And it is just like, that is a page turner for me. It's terrific. I don't know how old, I wonder if you can even get it, but I just remember it's like, what? Photography of swimming pools from Aragorn? Done. Done.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that
So
out.
good.
I had no idea.
Yes. Please do.
Not that I
It's
think
terrific.
have ever thought much about the inner life of Viggo Mortensen, but for the first time now I have.
Well, you don't really have to enjoy the book, I'd say. All you have to do is enjoy nice photos of pools.
How many photos do you know? Like, is it a long book? Like a photo book could be.
No, it's like a little thing.
Yeah.
It's yeah, but still, it's enough. It's like, oh yeah, that's a great one. Oh
Have
yeah,
you
that's
ever
so
watched
cool.
like the reality shows about like absurd pools, like crazy pool designs? I don't even know what they're called, but have you ever seen those?
No, I have not. Is there such a
There
thing?
is, yeah. There are several shows that are based around unique pool designs, and they're fascinating. Like in the way that you know trash reality shows can be.
Uh,
Um, but it's more about like the engineering and the design of these pools, and less about like people throwing wine into each other's faces.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That was a nice gesture. But I would say that I'm not a big reality person.
No.
In general,
Yeah.
not a fan. Could be better. But maybe pools would be interesting. I watched a documentary on your recommendation that is terrific. It's about a place called Action Park.
Yeah.
And I have to say, that was fascinating. And pools were
Yeah,
involved.
I didn't know that you
Dangerous,
actually watched
dangerous
it.
pools. Yes. Oh my God. What a dangerous place.
Yeah.
But what a terrific documentary.
Yeah, that's Class Action Park, right?
Yes, please explain for the listener.
Yeah, so Class Action Park is a documentary that is made about an amusement park, a water park that used to exist in New Jersey called Action Park. And it was an awesome park that was also very dangerous because the whole ethos of the park was that the participants, the guests, had control over what they were doing. It wasn't just you go on a ride and the ride takes you there. It was like, no, you're on like a go-kart and you're controlling it, or you are on this luge going down this crazy crevasse and you are controlling it. You're in a water park, you're swimming, like you were in control. And one of the most infamous images, which wasn't even open very much, but they have a loop-de-loop water slide that was open for a short time. And people probably seen that floating around the internet, but that's from Action Park, and Action Park was a very real place in New Jersey. And the documentary dives into like the culture of that like part. And actually, like I think the thesis of a lot of it was just like the people who worked there and went there were like, man, we had absentee parents. Why was no one paying
Yes.
attention to us?
Yes. Yes, and I grew up in that era. I totally would have gone, and no one would have known. Like my parents were totally absentee, and yeah, probably would have hurt myself really badly.
Or you
Um,
might not have. Oh, you might just gotten a little bit
or
of scraped, and then you have great stories.
yeah, amazing. But it looked super fun and super dangerous. But yeah, wow.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of in Disney's Pinocchio when they go to Pleasure Island, right? Pleasure Island is supposed to be this heaven for bad little boys. And so they have, oh, you can smash stained glass windows and smoke cigars and play pool and like you can trash everything. It's all free. It's Action Park was like that for New Jersey kids.
Did you ever get to go, or was that before your time?
So it was before my time, but I've gone to that place afterwards. It is a water park now. They
Mm.
reopened it. They did call it Action Park again. So Action Park is back, but it's safer.
Oh,
Okay.
is it still fun?
It is still fun. Like they still have, in terms of the original attractions, the Tarzan swing is still very much a thing, and I believe it's in the same place the old Tarzan swing was. So I have swung.
But nerfed.
Yeah, and like if you do it wrong, you could hurt yourself still. So that element of danger is still there, which makes it fun. I honestly think like it's more fun when I could get smashed doing this. I don't know. It makes it like the specter of death is following you, and running from death is fun.
But you're not afraid of death, so I would feel it would be less impactful.
Yeah. Well, then it's just
How about
fun.
the threat of harm?
The threat of harm, right?
The threat of harm is that's terrible. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that I enjoy small excitements like that, the threat of death. Like I'm not allowed to ride roller coasters, and one time I stood in line and they it was like a bajillion years in this line, and they kept talking about how certain heart conditions you shouldn't ride this roller coaster, and it was like that was pretty thrilling in itself.
Yeah.
Just listening to how I shouldn't ride it and waiting for 45 minutes to actually ride it. And then I just screamed for a good 5 minutes as the roller coaster ran.
And so you had
It was
fun.
amazing. Yeah.
And you
it was
didn't
amazing.
die.
I did scream the entire time and I did not die.
Nice
So
work.
it is
No,
fun.
that sounds like tons of fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
Grievous injury though. Less interested, but yeah, cheating death, excellent.
totally.
Quality.
That's what thrill comes from, right? Like I don't think you get thrilled without some part of your body having, a terror response, right?
Yes. Can I tell you about a very strange time in which I was very, very thrilled?
Yes.
I had a solo dorm room at one point in my life, and I used to just skip a lot, like ta-da, 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 just skipping. I would get like the human equivalent of zoomies, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I would skip around this room like an animal. And then I had like a chair that I would sometimes jump up on and then jump off and then continue to zoom. And I forgot that I'm a mess, put a magazine on top of that chair. And I jumped up on the chair, as is my ritual, and slipped,
Oh, wow.
but then landed and was fine. And
Yes.
I was like, oh my God, no one's there, right? It's just me like doing da 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 da. Um, and I was like, whoa. And I took a few moments to recover from it. And then I put the magazine back on the chair and tried to do it again.
That's incredible. Because you got
I've never told anyone about that, but it was very exciting. Those are Marie excitements.
you basically got a freebie, right? You were like, hey.
Yes, I got a freebie.
And
yeah.
then you tempted fate right in the face again.
Yes. And then the second time, nothing happened. Like this magazine just sat there.
You didn't even
and I was
slip.
like, oh, no, I didn't even slip. I was like, huh. Okay. Well, that's a freebie.
Yeah. Dude, that impetus of like, that was a freebie. Let's do it again. Like, that's amazing.
It was really exciting.
I feel like you wouldn't do that now.
No, I would not. I'm old. I have so many problems. I have to put my spine in traction, once a day at least. So yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Young people.
Don't try this at home, anyone. This is just recounting experiences that you should not emulate, right?
Yes. There's so many times I like throwing rocks at snakes as a child. Yeah, so many freebies. Yeah, so many freebies. In the Texas Panhandle, I was throwing rocks at snakes. Hey, get out of here.
Yeah, they got some dangerous snakes over there.
Yeah, we have rattlesnakes. Yeah.
Yeah.
My dog used to throw them at my mom.
The snakes?
Yeah, she'd just like pick them up in the yard and like throw them at her. Which was terrific in its own way.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's probably a pretty good place to end our discussion on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad we had this chat, Chris.
Me too, Murray. No, it's great. And I've learned so much about you in just the past 10 minutes that I had no idea of.
Well, I learned so much about you always. And thank you for singing and sharing your voice with us today.
You're welcome. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll both do some more of that, right?
Never. But okay.
See you, everyone.